All right, let's talk about something we all do every single day: resistance. It's almost a reflex, right? That inner clenching, that pushing back against what's happening. We do it so automatically, we don't even realize it's a choice we're making. You know the feeling. You're stuck in traffic, the car in front is crawling, and you feel your shoulders tense up, your hands gripping the steering wheel. That's resistance. Or how about when you get some tough feedback at work? Your mind just instantly goes on the defensive, building a case for why they're wrong instead of just listening. And maybe the biggest one of all, we resist ourselves. We push away sadness or anxiety, telling ourselves, I shouldn't feel this way. We fight our own internal weather. And this is where we run into this incredible paradox, summed up perfectly by the psychologist Carl Jung. The more you fight something, the more you push against it, the stronger it seems to get. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. So, here's the big question for us today. What if we just stopped? What happens when we consciously decide to unclench that mental fist and just allow things to be as they are? And it turns out the answer has nothing to do with giving up. It's about a complete transformation. So where does that transformation even begin? Well, the very first place you'll feel it is physical. Let's take a look at what's actually going on inside your body. So when we're resisting, our body thinks it's in danger. It hits the panic button and goes into fight or flight mode. That's your sympathetic nervous system flooding you with stress hormones. It's great if you're running from a lion, not so great if you're just dealing with a delayed flight. Do that long enough and you get chronic stress and burnout. But look what happens when we flip the switch to non-resistance. Your body engages the other system, the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest state. The alarm bells finally go quiet. Your heart rate slows, your digestion starts working properly again. It's a real, tangible, physiological shift from a state of emergency to a state of calm. And hey, this isn't just some nice idea. We've got the science to prove it. Check out this study from 2018. They had two groups watch the exact same upsetting movie. The first group was told to suppress their feelings, to resist them. And guess what? Their bodies stayed physically stressed out long after the movie ended. But the second group, the acceptance group, their bodies went right back to normal in just a few minutes. The only thing that was different was their mindset. Okay, so once your body gets the all-clear signal, that opens the door for your mind to do the same. When the body stops fighting, the mind finally has room to think. You know, there's this beautiful old Taoist proverb that just nails this. Resistance makes us like that rigid oak tree, trying to stand strong against a hurricane. And we all know how that ends. It snaps. But non-resistance, that gives us the flexibility of a reed. It lets us bend with reality instead of getting broken by it. Psychology has this fun name for why fighting our thoughts is so useless. They call it the white bear effect. It's simple. Right now, for the next 10 seconds, try as hard as you can not to think about a white bear. Don't do it. So what are you thinking about? Exactly. The very act of pushing a thought away makes it come back stronger. So when we finally stop playing this pointless mental game, we get a huge resource back, our energy. All that mental bandwidth we were wasting on fighting and denial is suddenly free. And that's energy you can now use for what really matters, for solving the actual problem, for being creative, for just being present. And as you can imagine, this internal shift starts to ripple out. It completely changes how we show up in our relationships. Think about a typical argument. It's really just two people resisting each other, right? A tug of war where nobody is actually listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk and pull the rope harder. But what happens if one person just lets go of the rope? The whole game changes. The tension goes slack. That's what non-resistance is in a conversation. It doesn't mean you agree. It just means you stop fighting their point of view for a second and genuinely try to understand it. In that little bit of space, conflict can literally transform into connection. Now, this brings us to what is probably the single biggest misunderstanding about this whole idea. And it is so important we get this right. People hear acceptance and they immediately think, so I'm just supposed to roll over, become a doormat, and let bad things happen? And the answer is a huge, emphatic, absolute no. Acceptance is not approval. It is not saying this injustice is okay. It is simply saying this injustice is real. It is happening. It's about seeing the situation clearly, without the fog of denial. In fact, it's the most powerful first step you can take before you act. I mean, you can't find your way out of the woods if you refuse to look at the map, right? Acceptance is looking clearly at the map, seeing every single obstacle for exactly what it is. Just think about the civil rights movement. That movement was built on a crystal clear acceptance of a deeply unjust reality. That acceptance didn't create passivity. It fueled some of the most focused, strategic, and powerful action in history. Action born from frantic resistance is scattered and reactive. Action born from clear-eyed acceptance is powerful. So let's just wrap this all up. What's the real bottom line here? When you stop resisting, your energy is liberated. The fuel you were burning on the inner battle is now yours to use. Your perception clarifies. You see things as they are, not as you fear they are. The emotional intensity goes down. Pain might visit, but it doesn't move in. Your relationships soften because you're listening more than you're fighting. Your creativity improves. And maybe most importantly, your real agency returns. You get back the true power to choose how you respond. And that really leaves us with just one final question to think about. Just take a moment and consider your own life. What could you build? What problem could you solve, or what joy could you experience with all the energy that you're currently spending on the fight?